Hello folks, I'm Dan Shizzle. We're going to be having a little look at this little fellow here, which is the AGI combo Whatsamajiggy, which is a dripper and also a Genesis. We're going to be having a look at this. Yeah, we're going to be having a look at this in both modes to see how it looks. We're going to talk a little bit how it performs and just my general opinion on it, really. Right, we'll get into a close-up and I'll show you how it looks, how it's set up. I'm not going to go into a whole wicking Whatsamajiggy, but we're going to have a look. Alright, so I'll be back in 1 second. Let's just go into close. Let's take a look at this in drip mode, which is there. As you can see, this is a lovely looking device. It's just been machined really well, solid 510 connection, and it's just, I mean, the lines are brilliant. I much prefer the look of this in drip mode than I do to an IGO L. Much prefer. I mean, don't get me wrong, the IGO L is a fabulous device, and for the price of one of these you can have a T2 and an IGO L, but for me, the aesthetics of that, I would much rather have this. Alright, let's have a look at the gubbins. It's a really solid connection. It's a double O-ring seal. There's no screwing, none involved, but it's a good seal. It's easily strong enough to hold up my Wick and my Vamo. Just by holding it like that, it easily holds it up. Alright, inside, let's get my screwdriver. Inside we have the 2 posts up here for dripper setup, and down here, if I get my wick out of the way, you can see 2 little grub screws, and these are for when you have a Genesis setup, which we will get to in a second. In drip mode, it's a stonking vape. I mean, it's really easy to set up, really easy to use, and it's just, I think it's a fabulous device. On the leak issues that some people have been having, as you can see down there, I do have some slight pinkness, which is the leak of pink juice that I've had. So it can leak, and I've seen a couple of people that have got around that by using Vaseline or even bigger screws. So although it does leak, it's still highly recommended from me. Excuse me. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this drip tip onto the Wick. Yeah, lovely. It's just a stonking vape. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what this looks like in Genesis mode. So what you get is you get your little extra base with a good solid 510 connection, similar to what you'd get on a T2 or an RDA S. Just wait for that to focus. There you go. Similar to what you'd get on one of those guys. This actually detaches. This is a little screw off. I'm not sure why it detaches. It just exposes the positive spring. Yeah, I'm not sure why it detaches, but it does. Let's get that back on. Right, in the box you will have this little glass tank and this base piece. It's all sealed with O-rings down here, as you can see down there. So you put your tank on, you get your other piece of your UD, and down in the tank, that little tube that I took off a minute ago actually has a 510 connection. So you screw it together, make sure it's tight. You need to get a good seal, so make sure you screw this in tight. And in Genesis mode, there it is, and as you can see, again, fabulous looking device. I mean, it's on par looks wise for me with the T2 easily. For me, it looks a bit better than the T2. No leaking issues in Genesis mode whatsoever, and again, I just love the look of this little beauty. And quality of vape is also excellent. I mean, in dripper mode I get massive clouds of vapor. In Genesis mode, which I'm going to show you now, you don't get so much vapor, but it's still there. It's not such a, it's not the cleanest of Genesis. I mean, flavour for me is a bit, yeah, it's sort of a bit not there really. But it's still in Genesis mode. I still like it as a Genesis. As has been pointed out in other reviews that I've watched, the distance between your neg, which is down the bottom, and the top, it doesn't leave you a lot of room for coil. But I didn't find a problem wicking this at for Genesis or coiling. I found it actually a bit easy, so I'm not sure whether I'd recommend it to a new person to Genesis, but anyone that's done even maybe one or two shouldn't find it too much of a problem if they use the drill bit method. Right, down here is the two little grub screws that I showed you earlier. One there, one there. Yeah. So this will become your wick hole, this one here. If I just move that coil out the way, this hole here will become your wick hole down here, and this one would become your fill hole. It's a relatively easy device to wick. There's my Genesis wick there that I took off earlier. As you can see, not too much of a bother. But again, I will state that I got this as like a pre-test release, so maybe they're working on stuff, maybe they're not, but I don't think they are. To be honest, I don't think they are working anymore on this. I think this is how it is, which is a shame, because if they could sort out that leaking issue, it would just be a cracking device. I mean, even with the leaking issue, I still find it a cracking device. It's just that the leaking issue will put some off. Most definitely will put some people off. Which is fair enough. I mean, if it puts you off, it puts you off. But for me, it's not really a problem, because it can be solved by a couple of bigger screws or some Vaseline, or. But as you can see, it's just a stunning little device, and one that I shall treasure. Right, let's get back to me, and we'll show you how it vapes. If I can get the bloody top back on. Right, I'll show you how it vapes. Right. How does it vape? Well, I've got it set up in drip mode. It's on the EVIC. My coil is registering as 1.5 ohms, so I'm going to vape that about 8.7, 8.5 watts. As you can see, in drip mode, it's just astounding. I mean, it's just a fabulous dripper. When I do put it into Genesis mode next time, I will show you it in Genesis mode as well, but in drip mode for now. And it's just, oh, clouds and clouds. I mean, I'm still am. I was a massive Phoenix fan. As you can see in most of my videos when I do a juice review, it is on my Phoenix, because I love my Phoenix. But I think the Phoenix might have just been replaced. So for me to say that, you know that this is a decent device. Bags of vapor. Pleasing to the eye. Feels nice. It's something I say a lot, which is the 5 senses of vaping. If it looks nice, if it tastes nice, if it feels nice, you're onto a winner. But then you hear it, it sounds nice. I mean, it's just stonking. I mean, I think it's going to be retailing for about 35 quid, which does put it in territory of, do I want 1 device or 2 devices? For me, I would go for this. Not just based on looks I would go for this, but also in drip mode I find it excellent. Genesis mode it's a Genesis, but it seems to lack some flavour. You still get flavour. I mean, if you was vaping a high flavour juice, you'd still get bags of vapour, but the juice that I was vaping, it seemed to suffer a little in Genesis mode. So yeah, it's just, I like it a lot. It's a shame they're not gonna, it's a shame that they've released it already. If they would have tested a little more and found out that it leaked, it would have been perfect. But yeah, just a fabulous looking little device. Looks nice on top of an Wick, which is a bonus. Yeah, I like it a lot. Right, I've been Dan. I'll see you next time.